So, you had mentioned you went to Japan. Tell me about the differences between wrestling here in the States versus going overseas.
Well, in Japan, it was more real. I think that's how Dana White uh, became so big in the States because in the 90s, wrestling in Japan was like NFL football here.
Mm,
It was that's what it was. It was the biggest thing ever. And I think people in the States go, my word, look at the money they're making. And I think that's where they got the idea to bring UFC, because if you noticed, UFC had to go through a bunch of loopholes to get regulated, and
sure.
every state had a different rule and different rules and regulations, and had athletic commissions here and there to get through, to go through the red tape. But I think I think Japan is what made UFC as big as it is today.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you see the mixed martial arts world being heavily influenced in today's pro wrestling. Like, look at Brock Lesnar. I
Right,
mean, he's a crossover star in both worlds now with his mixed martial arts training and going back to pro wrestling where he started his career. Obviously, of course, he was an amateur wrestler before that, and just to
right,
see the star he became, and Ronda Rousey as well. I mean, people kind of going back and forth. I mean, that's had to have had an influence on the product.
right. And I think in a way that's actually elevated everybody, because people go, well, where did Brock come from? Well, when they said UFC, well, they're going to go back and watch UFC just to see how tough Brock really was,
Yeah.
and just like Ronda Rousey. So I think it all worked out better for everybody, long term.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's helped introduce pro wrestling to newer audiences with the MMA influence?
I think so because um, you know, Vince McMahon was smart because he got everybody involved. When he got the boxing world involved, he got MMA involved. So he got what he done is he just like when he started WWL back in the day, he went to every territory and got each and every big star there
Hmm.
because he knew if he got the big stars, they would watch. Well, he
Hmm.
knew if he went and got a Mike Tyson, if he went and got a Ronda Rousey, well, it would draw more people there to watch.
Correct.
And
Yes.
you're correct. It made the whole world watch because it made people interested in what was going to happen next.